replacing the fuel injectors on this AMG 6.2 liter, 6.3 liter M156. This should be the same process for every M156 fuel injector, and I believe it's recommended that they're every 60 or 80,000 miles. There are going to be 4 bolts holding the rail to the actual intake manifold, and then there will be an electrical connector on each one of the fuel injectors, and then one over here there's going to be one connector, and that is going to be for our fuel pressure sensor. Before doing this, you do want to actually find a way to disconnect or stop fuel from flowing from the vehicle. Otherwise, you know, the car can wake up, activate the fuel pump. Now the clips are really easy to take off, and there is going to be a little press clip right here. Okay, try and get this harness up out of the way. So right there on each one of these connectors, and what you're going to do is simply click that in very carefully. Sometimes you can get it just with your hand. You may need to use a pry tool, or in this case a pocket screwdriver, to assist you. And then you're going to do that for all 8 of the fuel injectors. Okay, and once you get that done, you're going to finagle the fuel pressure sensor off, just like so. And then now we can actually wiggle the fuel rail off. And the first time that you're doing this, I wouldn't be surprised if there is still some fuel laying inside of these lines. And we would be using our workbench, but it is still covered in tools. So we're going to do this on the ground with the cams. Okay, so we got the fuel rail and injectors out of the vehicle now. You can probably see how nasty these are, and this is the reason I am going to be replacing these, just because of how crusty they are. And then, don't remember which one it was, but one of these was actually starting to come apart while on the vehicle. It might be that one. See, we got that big huge gap right there. Can't see that in the camera. There we go. Got that big huge gap right there, and that's the main reason I wanted to do it, on top of all the nasty garbage. These are very easy to replace. There are going to be these securing clips on each one of the injectors, and you can simply use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to be using a pick, and you want to catch them because they are under spring tension. Just like that. So what these clips do is actually secure onto right here. So the injectors have these little tabs that are on here, and the rail has the tabs, and then this is going to slide over straight, like just like the rest of them here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these pulled off. All the clips are now off the injectors. You can simply twist and pull and get all of them out, just like so. Okay, all the fuel injectors are out. We do have 8 brand new Bosch fuel injectors for this. And this is probably the only thing for this vehicle I have not ordered through FCP Euro. And that is only because at this point I am way over the budget that I set for myself. I got these from a company called RM European. They were incredibly fast as far as shipping goes, and they were a lot cheaper than FCP Euro. Yes, there is no lifetime warranty, but these should last me more than enough time. So I am going to demonstrate on how to get one of these put on here. We're going to use a little bit of lube on here just to coat the O-ring. And this is a petroleum base, so it's going to dissolve as soon as gasoline is going to touch it, so we're not going to have to worry about it clogging or messing anything up. And we're just going to ever so slightly pop it in, just like that. Okay, and do that one more time. Pop the cap off here. Hopefully you can pick it up on camera. You're going to hear a little pop once it is seated all the way. So gently wiggle. Oh, that one didn't pop. That first one did pop, but we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these put on here. Got all 8 fuel injectors installed. We're going to gently slide these over, and they're going to slide into the groove right there on the fuel injector. Just like so. So you're gonna have to orientate the injectors ever so slightly so that way these clips will go in, because there is a tab right here that's going to have to slide in through there. So these are gonna have to line up. Okay, so we have all of our fuel injectors securely set up. We're gonna do the same thing and put a little bit of petroleum-based lubricant around these O-rings here. You need to make sure that the ports for your injectors are nice and clean. And the last thing you want to do is go through all this trouble and where the O-rings actually sit inside of the intake manifold have too much crud and debris in there and end up damaging that. So I'm going to go ahead and get all these cleaned out. The ports in the intake manifold have been all cleaned out. And get our fuel injectors and rail lined up in here. May have to wiggle around the harness a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get these connectors preset on these fuel injectors, just so it makes it a little bit easier when we're going to go do our final fit. Wiggle the fuel injectors into the intake manifold. Alright, so get them lined up and make sure this one's lined up, and we're going to give it a little press. There we go, just like so. Make sure the fuel injectors are lined up inside the intake manifold and just gently pop them in place. There we go. Now, obviously make sure we go back, reconnect all of our connectors. And you'll know that they're connected all the way when you hear a little click. Back one's a little tough to get to. And get our fuel pressure sensor set back in here. Okay, so now we're going to reinstall the 4 T30s securing the rail to the intake manifold, and there's going to be 2 on either side, one at the front and one at the back. The fuel injectors have been replaced, rails back on. This part literally just clips on. There is a clip on